everyone, welcome to today's video. Today's video is going to be all about how to cut the shaggy bang. I get asked every single day how I get my bangs to look like this. So I thought, why don't I shoot a video to show all of you? There are 3 things that are different between making a bang look like this with a little bit of shag as opposed to that straight across type of fringe that is a really bold, blunt type of look. So I don't normally recommend for anyone to do DIY anything at home, but with these kind of bangs, what's really signature about the look is that they're super long, and it's unrealistic to expect anyone to be in the salon that often trimming their bangs. I probably trim my bangs once every 4 to 5 days, right? So how I know they needed to be trimmed is obviously I can't see. If you look closely, they're kind of hitting my eyelashes. They make my eyelashes go like this a little, or my bangs split weirdly, or something of the other. You'll know when it's time to cut them. The reason why you don't want to cut them too short is because then it takes away that whole look completely. So let me just get started. All you're going to need is a mirror. Normally I would just use the camera, but because this is on my face, I want to make sure that I can see exactly what it is that I'm doing. A pair of scissors, obviously, the sharper the better. You'll need a comb, obviously. And usually I just do this over my sink so I can rinse it, but for today I have a towel to cover me with. So here's some signature things about the bangs. The 3 things. 1, they're really long. They're pretty much right in your eyes. 2, what makes them kind of sit straight and not in your eyes is that the middle part is probably the only part that sits above the eyelashes. And then right above, about the middle of your eye, it starts to lengthen out and go this way. And the reason why you want that extra length is because then if they're too long to sit straight across, they naturally kind of just feather open. And that's what gives it that like really shaggy look. Now, every 4 to 5 days, I'm typically only cutting the center. Maybe once every 2 weeks, maybe 2.5 weeks, maybe 3. I don't actually know. I don't really pay attention. Is when I trim the sides. And you'll know it's time to trim the sides when they're so long they kind of just sit like this. And they're like long enough to tuck, right? So let's get this back down. First thing you want to do is start with your bangs down the way that you want them to sit. This is not very practical because I don't have my arms. But whatever. If I make a little mess, I'll vacuum later. So first thing we're going to do, I'll just hold this here, is cut the center part right here. So I'm just going to, and the other thing is do not cut it too much. If it's too short, it loses the shag completely. So literally every 4 to 5 days, I'm just cutting millimeters off. That's how high maintenance these bangs are, but they're cute and worth the effort. So I'm going to just come like this, right above the middle part of my eye here. You're just going to trim a little bit like so. I actually probably should have grabbed a makeup brush to clean off my face after, but whatever. I'll do it later. Like that. See? So if you look closely, they're long, but not in my eye. And then this part, it's really important for all of it to just comb down. So you can see how it's kind of just hanging over my eyelash. That's what's, now they're at the point where they need to be trimmed on the sides too. So what I'm going to do is come in like this and just trim those little hairs. Just a tiny bit. And you have to be ever so careful so that you're not trimming your eyelashes, obviously, if you wear eyelashes. Or even worse, trimming your natural lashes. That would be brutal. There, see, and they just kind of hug the eye like that. Now you got to do the other side. See, now you can see a difference between the 2 sides. This side sits nice. This side starts to fan over, and that's how I know it's time to cut the sides. So I'm going to go like this. See if I can do this without the mirror. Just like so. And then I can check them. And they also don't need to be perfectly even. You are going to texturize them a little bit afterwards because you want them to be really feathery. So again, they look shaggy. Just trim it like that. A few extra hairs. There. That looks actually perfect. Okay, lastly what you're going to do is you're going to point cut into them to break up the perimeter. So you're just going to do that by combing it straight down like this and holding it, and then using your shears and going in vertically aligned with the hair, with the hair follicles like this. This I'm going to probably use a mirror for because I don't want to cut. If you cut it even a little bit like this, you're going to have a huge chunk and your bangs are actually ruined. So I'm going to use this mirror here and just go in vertically like this. Just a little bit. Ooh. Okay, this is how you touch them up. But let's say you're someone that wants to cut this for yourself for the first time. If you're not a hairstylist, I do not recommend that because you don't really know how to section the hair properly. It's easy to mess up, and the last thing you want to do is cut them too thick, because when they're too thick, they do look blunt. You can't really texturize enough to make it look shaggy because then the tops look really thick and your ends look really thin. You really just need a little bit of hair. So for all you hairstylists out there, to section this, what you want to do is put the comb like this and rock it. So you kind of want to go to where it sits just like that. So you can see at this point. And then comb everything forward like this and like this. Obviously you need to measure your client's hair because we all have different densities. This is just a general measure. On average, that's going to look like this. If you want a thicker bang, obviously you're going to have to pull it from back a little further. If you want something a little thinner, then take a little bit of that out and kind of section it like that. For me, it worked pretty good to do that. But that's always how I measure and check my bangs. I've seen it where there's been bang mishaps happen where people take it from back here and then it ends up cutting it into their, which would be your top layer, and that is brutal. Let's do a final check. That looks good. Let me dust my face off a little. There you have it, and they're perfect again. If you have any questions or comments, please leave them down below. We will get back to you. We do release new videos every Friday, so definitely subscribe to our channel. And other than that, have a very beautiful weekend. I always want you to remember that there are no shortcuts to great hair. Bye!